Hello, I'm Jamie, your IELTS tutor, and today I'm going to show you how to write a great introduction for Task 2 of the IELTS Writing Test. But first, a quick overview. In Writing Task 2, you have 40 minutes to write a 250-word essay. There are 5 common question types. You might be given a statement and have to say whether you agree or disagree with it. Suggest solutions to a problem, or outline the advantages and disadvantages of a proposal. Alternatively, you might need to discuss 2 points of view, or answer a direct question. Although there are some differences in how you answer each of these question types, the good news is, whatever the question, these 3 simple steps will help you to write a great introduction. So first of all, step 1, stop and think. When you see the question, don't start writing straight away. The introduction is probably the most important part of your essay. It should make your point of view clear and tell the examiner exactly what you'll write about. So it's important to spend time understanding the question and planning your answer. So slow down, take a moment, and read the question carefully. Here, our question is, individuals can do nothing to improve the environment. Only governments and large companies can make a difference. To what extent do you agree or disagree? As you read, underline the key words. This will help you to understand the question clearly and stop you missing important information. Every question has 2 parts, a statement and the instructions. The instructions tell us what type of question it is. Here we can see that it's a type of agree-disagree question. So to answer this, we need to say if we agree or disagree with the statement and give reasons and examples. So now that we understand the question, our next step is to make a plan. First, we need to decide our overall response. This is a sentence summarizing our point of view on the topic. Try to think of 2 reasons for your point of view. For example, you could say that, I agree with this statement, because a single person is responsible for only a tiny amount of pollution. Another reason is that governments and companies can quickly make huge changes. Alternatively, you could disagree with the statement. For example, by saying that many people acting together can have a big impact, and that individual actions can influence governments and corporations. Now, it's possible to both agree and disagree, but this requires more complex language, and it's not necessary for a high score. So unless you're very confident, I suggest choosing 1 point of view, totally agree or totally disagree. Now we can use a simple structure for our essay. An introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Each paragraph can be split into sentences, which we'll look at in another lesson. Today, we're going to focus on writing our introduction. In our introduction, we need to do 2 things. First of all, we need to paraphrase the question. What does this mean? It's simple. We need to write the question again in our own words. There are 4 common ways of paraphrasing. Changing the grammar from active to passive voice. Changing the word form. Using synonyms. And changing word order. Let's start with voice. A good way to start your introduction is to use the passive voice. So instead of saying, many people believe that, which is active, make a passive sentence instead. For example, It is widely believed that. This makes your writing sound less personal and more academic. Secondly, we can change the word form. Instead of saying improve the environment, we can change the verb to the ing form, so it becomes improving the environment. We can also use synonyms. These are words that have the same meaning. Here, instead of saying individuals, I've said individual citizens. And instead of saying large companies, I've said corporations. Here, instead of saying only, I've used the word alone. And instead of make a difference, I've used the synonym take effective action. Finally, I've also changed the word order by saying corporations and governments instead of governments and companies. Using these 4 techniques, the first sentence in your introduction will have the same meaning as the question statement, but it will be written in your own words. The final step is to write our thesis statement. This is just 1 or 2 sentences summarizing our opinion and our main points. It's probably the most important sentence in your essay because everything we write in our essay will be connected to our thesis statement. This makes our argument very clear to the examiner. In our example, I want to disagree because of these 2 reasons. Start by directly answering the question. In this case, we're disagreeing. So we can say, I strongly disagree with this point of view. This makes your opinion very clear. If you want to agree with the question, simply say, I strongly agree with this point of view. Then, give your reasons by using a linking expression like, as I believe that. This allows you to introduce your first main point, that many people acting together can have a big impact. Then, use another linking expression, such as while, to introduce your second main point. While individual actions can influence governments and corporations. And there you have it, an introduction which clearly introduces the topic and outlines your point of view. Well done for completing this lesson. Before we go, some final thoughts. Don't go into too much detail in your introduction. You don't need to give examples or detailed reasons. Just give a summary of your opinion and main points. But do make a plan before you start writing. You can make notes on the answer sheet. Just cross them out when you finish, and the examiner won't look at them. Finally, practice writing introductions with a range of different question types. This will help you to be relaxed and ready for anything that comes up in the exam. Okay, that's all from me for now. Best of luck with your studies, and I hope to see you again in our next lesson.